Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
We are hearing from Patrick Lioya's family on the verdict, who are still looking for justice in this fight. This as Christopher Shore's attorney looks towards what's next.
Good afternoon, everyone. Just before 10 this morning, the jury told the judge they were unable to reach a verdict in this case. After deliberating for several days, they could not decide on manslaughter or second-degree murder or a not guilty verdict in the trial of Christopher Shore, the officer who shot Patrick Lioya.
And we have Jacqueline Francis joining us now. You've been on top of this story since the very beginning. What are you hearing from prosecutors and also the Lioya family?
Disappointment, but not surprise. The prosecutor said they knew a hung jury was always a possibility, and there is precedent for that in officer-involved shooting cases like this one. Let's take a listen to when the judge finally called it a mistrial after 20-plus hours of deliberation.
First, I wanted to verify that that's true, that you're unable to reach a verdict as a panel.
Correct.
Okay. And so what I'm going to do is declare a mistrial in this case, and that means that you're all discharged.
We don't know exactly how the jury was split, but the attorneys said the jury tried their best and was unable to reach a unanimous verdict. The prosecutor will now have to decide if he will retry this case. He absolutely can. The question is if he will. The defense is hoping he chooses not to refile. We heard from both sides after the mistrial was called. Here's what they had to say.
Can you talk about the reaction of from Christopher Shore?
You know, he's been living with this for 3 years. He obviously wanted some resolution. I think he was felt that the jury took the time to deliberate. He appreciates that. He obviously wanted it to be done, but you know, it's a hung jury.
We're hoping for a verdict, and I think the family, I don't know if they've talked here, but they're extremely disappointed, as am I. This was something we were hoping to get a conclusion. We thought we'd put a good case forward. Obviously, the jury thought differently. They were hung. I spent quite a bit of time talking with them. They're very open, and it's really a good jury. I mean, they paid attention. They took a lot of notes. They obviously were in there for a long period of time.
We also heard from Patrick Lioya's family, who has been in the courtroom every day of this trial. Here's what they had to say.
My wife, we are bleeding, we are in pain, but I would like to thank all my legal team that have stood by me and my family have been fighting, and all the activists, all the members of the community who stood by us and fight and will continue to fight until when we get the true justice for Patrick.
Reaction continues to pour in as word of this mistrial gets out. We're going to have much more coverage for you throughout the day.
Yeah, certainly. And we'll wait and see if, like you said, charges get refiled down the line. But at this point, just a quick end to this today after being unable to come to a verdict. Yeah. Thanks, Jacqueline.
All right, Jacqueline, thank you. I know we'll have much more for us later today. In the meantime, the other big story we're covering is day 2 of the papal conclave to find a replacement for Pope Francis. You are looking at live pictures from the Sistine Chapel as we watch for signs of what's happening inside from the chapel chimney. And crowds are gathering in anticipation outside of the Sistine Chapel.
The Cardinals have voted at least 3 times so far today with no decision, or so far twice today, I should say, on a new pontiff. 2 votes this morning produced black smoke from the chimney above the Sistine Chapel to signal no cardinal received that required 2/3 votes to elect the new pope. Let's get to Jay Gray, who's in Vatican City, where the process stands right now.
Well, the doors to the Sistine Chapel are closed and locked. The cardinals back inside and resuming the vote to elect a new pope of the Catholic Church. This after 3 votes, 1 during the opening session last night, and then 2 this morning that resulted in black smoke. No pope elected. There will be as many as 2 votes this evening, and if there's no pope elected at that point, the process will resume tomorrow. Here's what we know is going on. After the 2 votes this morning, the Cardinals retire to their dorms, if you will, at the Vatican. They have lunch, and then they have a chance to discuss what's going on, determine if maybe someone is gaining some momentum, if they've seen something in the pattern of the voting that would allow them to maybe push for a certain candidate. They can do the same after this evening session if no pope is elected. In fact, they can talk as long as they'd like. There's no curfew there. But while they are inside the Sistine Chapel, it is silence. It's dedicated to prayer and to voting, and those votes being counted is the only thing you'll hear during those sessions. We, like the rest of the world, continue to watch the chimney and wait for that smoke. For now, I'm Jay Gray, NBC News at the Vatican.
All right, Jay, we do wait anxiously for that one. Other news this afternoon, Thurston High School in Redford Township closed today after a shooting on a school bus just outside the school.
Now, this happened yesterday about 3 p.m. in the afternoon there at the bus lane of this high school. The high school sits right off of the I-96 service drive and a section between Inkster and Beach Daily on Schoolcraft. Police say that as students were getting on the bus, at least one shot was fired, and that shot did hit a teen. The student who was shot was taken to the hospital and is expected to be okay. Investigators are still trying to figure out, though, exactly what happened, and we will let you know when we get updates from police. It's expected to happen later today.
Also today, a judge taking a closer look at the evidence against a man charged in a DoorDash driver's murder. Back in March, Mamadou Diallo was shot and killed in Ferndale the day before he was going to turn 27. A month later, 3 people were taken into custody. One of them, Terrell Sims, is charged with second-degree murder. The other 2 people were released. Sims has been denied bond. Today's preliminary exam will decide if he will stand trial for Diallo's murder. A Detroit band's tour was cut short when the feds arrested the keyboard player a few months ago.
Evan Mercer, who was part of the band Max Saturn, is going to be sentenced today for child pornography and could face a very lengthy sentence. Kim DeGiulio joins us now with how long he could spend behind bars.
He could face up to 30 years in prison, and that's because of some very disturbing behavior online. He was a part of that band that was successful. He was a rising star. The band even had a show date booked at the Fillmore, but since then, that show has been canceled. 31-year-old Evan Mercer of Farmington faces up to 30 years behind bars after his ex-girlfriend turned in evidence to police after discovering disturbing videos and screenshots on her laptop that was synced to his phone. When questioned by Ferndale police, Mercer admitted to engaging with minors on a video chat platform during the pandemic. His arrest came the same day his band, Max Saturn, was set to begin a 35-date national tour. His band then releasing this statement on social media saying they were shocked to learn about the allegations involving Evan Mercer, a recent addition to the band. In December, Mercer pleaded guilty to sexual exploitation of a child. His defense team is pushing for the minimum sentence of 15 years, citing his remorse and family support. But prosecutors want the maximum, 30 years, saying Mercer's actions robbed children as young as 7 years old of their innocence, and giving him the maximum sentence would protect the public. Again, Mercer is no longer with the band Max Saturn. They were able to rebook some of their shows. As for Mercer, his sentencing set to happen later today. I'm Kim DeGiulio, Local 4.
All right, Kim, thank you. Dearborn wants to give Warren Avenue a facelift, making it safer for drivers and pedestrians. And to do that, city leaders want to hear from the Dearborn community. The Warren Avenue project is looking to bring down the speed limit, build walkways and bike paths, and improve traffic flow, along with reducing crashes.